What is up, everybody? It is another hot fire episode of PSA, the Mental Health Podcast. This is QLC Track 9. We've been on a roll. We only skipped 1 week, so that's good. But yeah, we on the roll, and I like to be on that roll, and I like to keep the ball running. Last week we talked about being single and dating as a young millennial. This week we're doing an episode catered to those that were married as young millennials in their 20s, and early 30s, and was like super early 30s, but really just like the 20s. And simple title, y'all. Today's episode is titled "Why Did I Get Married in My 20s?" The meme reads, "You need to focus on loving yourself before you try loving on someone else." Inspiration comes from the movie "Why Did I Get Married?" Tyler Perry classic film 1 and 2, and it's a good movie. But it's honestly a good question. I feel like anyone should ask themselves who is married, like, why did I? Because it helps you to remember why you did. And another inspiration just comes from this generation where a lot of us who aren't married are pressured, whether we're in a relationship or not, are pressured to get married. And it's like, well, when you get married and why you not married yet and what you waiting on and all this other stuff. So that's definitely, a source of inspiration for this episode. And I think we're going to probably unpack that today. So for track 9, this man keeps coming back on every album I do. I'm not sure why, but he just does. Um, let's go ahead and introduce this time last year he was on 2 episodes with 2 other people. This year he by himself. So tell the people what's your name, who you are, where you from.
Ronald. Ronald, I am one of his friends, I guess you could say. I don't really have a great title other than the entrepreneur, which is recent. But yeah, Ronald from Houston, down South City. Show no pity.
Hmm. I ain't never heard that one before. Okay. So first of all, when you hear the word, I got a few words, and I want you to give what you think of the what's first thing that come to mind. When you hear the word home wrecker, what's the first thing that come to mind?
Whore.
When you hear the word seduce, what's the first thing that come to mind?
Delilah.
Oof. When you hear the word marriage, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Uh, the right way.
And when you hear the phrase self-love, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Self-confidence.
All right, so I went ahead and got for both all of these definitions. So, home wrecker, person was blamed for the breakup of a marriage or a family, especially due to having an engaged in affair with one member of a couple. Seduce means to entice someone to sexual activity. You don't hear the word seduce often. That's like a 2002 word.
Yeah.
The word marriage, the legally or formally recognized union of two people partners, as in a personal relationship, a union between a man and a woman. And then self-love, regard for one's own well-being and happiness, chiefly considered as a desirable rather than a narcissistic characteristic. So, sir, let's talk about it. Get jumping right into things. Are you married?
I am. I am married. 2 years now.
2 years. So you got married at what age for the audience so they can know?
Uh, 28, so 20, 25 or 26.
All
25,
right.
probably
Make sure.
probably 25 going on 26.
All right. How long have you been with your wife?
7 years. Yeah,
Okay.
7 years. Well, in July. Well, yeah, 7 years. I'm tripping. It is July.
And what part of y'all's relationship did you know, like, we getting married?
Early, early. For the people who are able to find their person, it don't really take long. For me, it didn't really take long to see. Yeah, like this is probably somebody that I'm probably gonna end up being with for the rest of my life.
Okay. Good, good, good. We love to hear that.
That's if you find your
Okay.
person.
Right. And that's the thing. And I'm glad you said that early because a lot of people feel like, something wrong with them or they ain't found a person yet. So maybe they ain't gonna
Hmm.
find one. But I'm like, you 25. It's okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of us are pushed to believe, and I like that quote by Zendaya when she was like, we just figuring our life out at 25. We just stop pressuring us to be married and have kids. Now, for some of us
Hmm.
that happen to, good for you. But it doesn't happen for everybody. And I want this
Hmm.
episode, if nothing else, to I think encourage people to, see the beauty in it at the same time. My logic is see the beauty in it, but at the same time honor that is to me a sacred thing. I look at it as one of the most sacred things that I know for a fact at the moment. I'm not mentally and emotionally ready for that versus being in a relationship, doing like a lot of these niggas, which I'm getting into later, but I'm gonna say now, y'all be cheating, y'all be going places, y'all do all not saying going places, you can go places, but what I'm saying is y'all be cheating deliberately, jet word, y'all be cheating deliberately. Y'all be, even if it ain't physical, y'all texting, y'all still doing stuff, and then want to be like, oh, well, I'm in love. And we're gonna talk about that a little later too. Because I want to ask your take on that. And
Okay.
then with that, so you mentioned you're an entrepreneur, and I want to have a great conversation about this later, but just to tell people, what is it that you do entrepreneur wise?
I own a clothing brand, Self Love Apparel. It's a God led clothing brand to help build self confidence.
Okay. And if you had to rate your self confidence and self love on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, where do you think you will be now?
Right now, oh yeah, probably a 7. 7. Before, if you would have asked me that 2 years ago, I probably would have told. Matter of fact, last year I would have told you 3. But yeah, about a 7. Yeah, 7, still growing.
All right. So let's get into one of the greatest segments ever. What does this have to do with mental health? All right. So, according to the State of Millennials and Marriage by Marnie Fuhrman, she says millennials have deeper, more personal reasons to delay marriage. There may be mindset among this age group that you don't need a partner to be happy. It's also hard to be in a relationship with a group of people that clearly recognize themselves as being self-absorbed. So, do you agree that young millennials are more self-absorbed than any other generation?
No, I don't agree with that. I know it's probably hard for me to say that because I am a millennial. Um, but it's hard. To be honest, I think the generation after us.
Gen Z.
I was talking to my wife about this the other day. Like the older generations love to get on millennials. Like we lazy. Y'all think y'all know it all. Whoop the whoop the woo. And I'm like, have y'all talked to the ones behind us? Like that's y'all think we bad, or y'all think some of the stuff that we say don't make sense. The ones behind us is kind of doing their own little wave too. And if y'all think we would,
Horrible.
but y'all couldn't even talk to them. So
Crackhead.
it's like, nah, I don't. I think millennials changed direction, like changed the way things are. Uh, it's like in the industry boom, or like when cell phones just started getting made, or when technology started blowing up. I think that's what like how it is for millennials. We switched and like changed the guard. So we were the generation that led to the next generation and the following generation and the following generation. We was the generation that created change, and I don't think it's self-absorbed. And I think with any generation, you got self-absorbed people. I don't think that's just a millennial thing or one generation thing. Any generation be self-absorbed.
Do you agree that this generation is quick to delay marriage?
Yeah, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Um, I think generations before, um, and not to say that generations before probably didn't delay marriage, but to my knowledge and probably to your
As a
knowledge,
whole?
yeah, to my knowledge, probably I know a lot of people from older generations who did get married, and like, and I know a lot of people who talked about how getting married was like a goal at that time, and it had to be at a certain spot at a certain time at a certain age. You got people from older generations who probably didn't want to get married, but literally were like, it needs to be like, I have to do this or life won't be the same. So I don't think I think it's a delay, but I think it's smart. And honestly, it's not really as much as a delay as people think, because I know a lot of millennials my age that are married as well, or getting married or getting engaged. I have family members who got married before I did. I got married at 25. They got married at like 22. So yeah, I don't. Social media will probably tell you, yeah, it's a quick delay. But I know people, I know millennials around my age, who got married way earlier than I did. So yes and no, I guess I should say.
So do you think that with that, because you said you know a lot of people that are married, do you feel as though people are those same people that you know that have gotten married, have any of them gotten a divorce?
No, they have not. Um, yeah, no, no, they haven't.
Okay. Because I know people who have gotten a divorce or about to get one. And I feel as though, statistics, which I don't have for this episode, I probably should have got it. But a lot of time they do say that this generation is quicker to get divorced. Well, that's why divorce rate is higher than ever, because people are running to get married. And in a lot of cases, I think with you just see you are around a lot of young, healthy relationships. But let's just call a spade a spade. You just won in the few hundred, when in reality a lot of them are. And it's because statistics shows that these people are rushing to the just to get married because they feel like if it's not by a certain time, then they're a failure or they're getting too old. When in reality, one, I believe in God. And people say, oh, if I had no baby by this age, then I don't need to have one. It's not saying that this should be your goal and not you because you would do. But if some people not having kids, it was some people that had miracle babies in 40, 45. So that are healthy. The kids ain't nothing wrong with them. Because my one homegirl, she 37, and she said she don't want no kids. She said she just knows she have a kid with 3 arms and 10 legs. I
What?
said, don't say that.
A mini
But
black baby.
yeah, but maybe you was made to love that man in black baby. Maybe that was supposed to be the baby that maybe that's supposed to be for you. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. So when you say that, when you bring up that divorce stat, um, and see, this is what I mean about older generations, because they say divorces are higher. I know that there are people around our age who do get married young, but I feel like most of those divorces are people from older generations who got married and are now getting a divorce. So I would say, if it is a like a strike against millennials that we waiting to get married, well, in that statistic that you just put, the proof is in the pudding that it's actually smart for them to be thinking about themselves or thinking about marriage versus just hopping into something because you feel like you need to hop into it. Um,
Right.
I think millennials think, and that's the issue. Like, it seems like that's the biggest issue, that millennials think. They don't just um, hear instruction and just go with the flow because everybody else do it.
Yeah.
Our generation, like, we think, we like, that don't really sound right, or that's not really something I want to do, or do I have to do that? Why is it that I have to do that? What makes it a have to? And I just, I that's why I'm like, I don't see the big thing. What's wrong with millennials? Versus, like I said, the generation after us. I ain't want to talk about that.
So this is the thing though, because I think about the comment, I correlate being in a relationship with the whole comment about, say for instance, if a person has issues, an older generation person I know because I've seen this conversation. Somebody had issues with a parent, mama or daddy. And the parent or the older generation, I know because they've said it. I've heard them say it out their mouth. I ain't gonna put nobody on blast. But they'll say something like, well, you had all them problems with your daddy or whoever. Well, at least you had a daddy. So then my comment was, okay, well, that's like the woman saying, at least I got a man, and he pushing her down steps and he gaslighting her and he's cheating on her. That's the exact same thing. And then they got quiet. So I think that, their logics on stuff is a little, Little House on the Prairie. But I think that they need to, I think what the beauty of us is that we're more open to more ways of thinking, and we'll say, that's not right. Or, because even when I hear my mom say, oh, yeah, I've heard her going down the lines of like the description of my wife. And I'm like, lady, I don't want that. Like, I don't want no prissy. I want a hood. And I'm not playing.
You want Trina?
I don't. Because Trina from Miami. So I want a New Yorker. It then says that there are more choices now than ever. With the use of technology, millennials can view loads of singles online quite easily. Talked about that last week, and then it said there's a mentality that someone is easily replaceable. I think that's the issue too. It says that this paradox of choice can lead to an inertia. I think people don't like change, and it's easy to be single. A lot of people do feel like, okay, this one gone, I can go get another one. I've heard people say, and I think that logic has always been around, but I think with social media and the dating apps and the Instagram, people be like, okay, how can you just get replaced? Swipe left, swipe right, or let me go on Instagram, go lurking and seeing what I can find. Even when you were single, did you ever feel like I go get another one?
No, I've always been a simp, I guess you could say. I didn't speaking like self-love, and I told you before that a year ago my self-confidence was low. That was like the thing with me. I didn't think I could go get another one. So if I found one, I tried to make sure I held on to that one as long as I could. And then like, of course, like I would you do end up meeting people regardless if you feel like you can't do it or not. You just sometimes you just flow and stuff just happen. Yeah. But my thought process was always, I don't know if I'll be able to get another one. So I'ma just let this one ride as long as I can. Do I think that's a good mindset to have? No. I feel so. Here's the thing, millennials, like I said, we think, and I give us credit for that, but sometimes thinking leads to overthinking. Yeah. For everything, there's a positive and a negative. There's two sides to everything. And I think, like with our generation and generations, the generation behind us, it is nobody really wants to it seems like nobody wants to work hard when it comes to relationships. What I see on social media a lot, it seems that nobody wants to be able to be patient and stick through and fight through the hard times. But want to be married and want to have a family and want to have all these different things. But as soon as he may or she may send the wrong text because they thought something different than what you thought, and y'all probably only been dating for 2 months, so y'all not really in sync like that. Now all of a sudden, nah, fuck nigga, I can't, broke boys, broke nigga, hell nah, I'm gone. Or like dudes be like, man, this female, come on, bro, she stupid, she crazy. And it's like, if you want something long lasting and you want something to sustain, something like as carnal and as simple as a missed text message or a text message read wrong or a thought or a date probably didn't go well, that shouldn't be enough to break you or separate y'all. So I do think, an issue with our generation is that we quit too easily because we think that it's always something better. And I do give the older generation that credit. They do like to show you the grass ain't green. The grass ain't always green on the other side. And with our age generation, we always think that I can just find something else. And I think that, and I honestly think that's going to really bite a lot of people in the butt when they get older. Mm-hmm. When they get older and they're going to think about that one dude or that one girl that they actually was vibing and connecting with, and something probably could have happened out of that. and you sent one bad text and now it's gone. Never get that person back. And Lord forbid if that person go get their own family, and and now we got social media and you can see that. Oh, so yeah, I do feel like that is an issue with our generation that we do give up too easily.
I feel like people are so quick. Like I do believe they quick to give up easily, but I think a lot of it too is I think that these songs influence us to get somebody else, and then some of us have the mentality that they'll be back, and a lot of times they do try to spin the block, and but I think sometimes imagine they try to spin a block, but you got something else going on. And then you may go back and try to entertain it, but you shouldn't, because sometimes it get cut off and sometimes they cut you off, and that was really a blessing in disguise. So we got to have that narrative too, because that does happen. And it was somebody you knew you shouldn't have been with no way. And somebody who, and a lot of times, and not always, I mean, it varies, but I do think a lot of times people don't stay with people because they didn't want to be there no way. And they was looking for a way out. So then it's like, oh, if this hoe slammed this door one more time, and because she walked too hard. Okay, you know what? I can't take this no more. Then
Yeah,
start.
something simple like that. Like that could probably be resolved with a conversation. Like, hey, and you ain't even gotta tell the truth. You probably something like that. You make up a lie, like, hey, I got neighbors downstairs. They say you too loud or something. But like something like that is not something, and it's I find that to be like a big thing. Like it's always something simple or something that's not even that deep or something that's just like you probably would have served you better to let that go and just keep pushing versus making that a whole big thing and a whole big ordeal. So I do have to say that we do as millennials, that is an issue. That's an issue for me. Like I said, I've always I've always been a simp, and I've always been like a romance dude. I like romantic comedies and shit like that. So I always think like that might be your person, and you just missed it because of that. Like that's not even that deep. That's something you would probably get over if you was at work or something. Like, why does it change with another being right next to you and the possibility to create a family and relationship out of that? Like, I don't know. That bothers me about our generation big time. And it's just like you see that a lot on social media. You see people's stories and you see TikToks and all that of females and males. Like, let me tell you about what this broke nigga did. And all he did was, hey, let's go chill at another spot. And you thought it was like, nah, I want you to take me to Steak 48. And like, I just met you. Like, something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, that bothers me about our generation sometimes. And I'm not saying you got that it'll like lead to marriage or nothing like that. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
relationships in general. Like, we fantasize and we romanticize relationships a lot in this generation. But a lot of times, those people who are in those relationships that y'all might fantasize did some dirty, hard work, got on their knees, used some elbow grease to make the shit work. It's just not something, real ones, not fake ones, real ones. It's just not something that just magically happens just because you want it to happen. Like, you got to fight for that. You got to push for that. You got to work for that. That's not something that just comes to you.
Yeah. So with that, talking about working hard, and it was a nice little segue into the next question. Do you believe that all men cheat?
No, I
Okay.
don't. There
I
are
don't
some good
either.
ones out there.
Yeah. What is your take on wrecking balls, home wreckers? People who intentionally go out their way to who enjoy, because it's one thing if you didn't know. It's another thing if you got entangled and then you found out, but you still entertained it. But it's another thing if you, like, some people enjoy, messing with people that's either in a relationship and or married. So what is your take? And that can go for both genders. So what is your take on that in a society where we highlight and idolize boyfriend number twos and side chicks and all that.
Yeah, I was gonna preface I know I said whore when you asked me, but you can be a male whore and a female whore. It ain't just one thing. Um, man, I don't. You gotta essentially feel bad. I know that their actions will cause you not to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you cannot tell me, you cannot show me any human being that did something outline or out of line or irresponsible or quote unquote evil on purpose. Like everybody has done something they're not supposed to do and they knew they weren't supposed to do it and they still went and did it for whatever reason, whatever thing that happened. Um, Typically what you find with people who actually seek that is because they probably don't feel confident that they'll be able to find something like some solid, so they just settle, or they probably got a bad viewpoint on marriage. Ain't no telling what they've seen or what they've been through or what they witnessed um coming up to make them think that that's okay. So I don't agree with it, no, but I do feel bad for the people who do that, because that lets you know that there is an issue regardless of how they like that's one thing I'm learning. Like I know you met people or seen people that do stuff that's like wrong, terrible, but they like cocky about it. They like, so whatever. And but you know, as you grow up and as you realize and start to see stuff differently, like you realize actually no, you don't like doing that. There's probably a part of you that prefers you to stop doing that, but you settle because you don't have faith that there's another way that this can go. You don't have faith that um you don't have faith in yourself to be able to get get a person. You don't have faith that you'll be able to sustain a relationship. You don't have faith that a relationship will work for you, so you settle. Like I feel like those people that do that are settling, and there's a reason why that they're settling. And even if they react a certain way when you tell them that's wrong, it's all based on some type of like they just felt like whatever.
Self-love. They
Exactly.
lacking it.
They lack exactly. Matt, you right. And that's like I know people might think like they might find a dude that be like, I don't mind sleeping with married women. It takes the pressure off of me, right? What I just heard was he probably don't think that he'll be able to handle the pressure that comes with being in a relationship with somebody that you really love. So he figures, let me just settle for a married woman that don't want to be with her husband because that takes the responsibility off of me, and I don't have to deal with all that, and I'm cool. Probably, but like most likely, and he probably don't even know that there's a person inside of him that doesn't like this because there's no consistency with it. You're up and down. You're moving at somebody's pace and somebody's schedule, right? It's always fluctuating. You're getting disregarded and disrespected because you are the side piece. Regardless if they don't like let's say they a nice side piece, or let's say they a nice well, what would be the person, because the side piece is the other thing, but what would be the person that has the side piece? What would you call that?
I don't know. I don't know. Just the person with the
Well,
side.
the person with the side might be a nice person with the side, but like it's still disrespectful, or he's still disregarding you, or she's still disregarding you because she doesn't want to fully commit to you. And most people might be like, that's fine with me. Okay, it might seem fine now. Like that's one thing. One thing I've learned, and I don't know, and this is for people who, if you don't believe in God, whatever. I feel like even if God is out the equation, Um, something that always feels good in the moment don't last long. Like, you may feel like I'm sleeping with a married woman, this is fun, but that shit gonna get like, it's inevitable. It gets tiresome if you're doing that 30, 40, 50 years down the line, right? Let's say if
30,
you the
40,
type of,
50.
yeah, like if you still trying to
By
sleep with
50,
married
you're gonna be
women,
sleeping with skeletons, ain't you?
like imagine you 60
Corpse.
years old. Imagine you 60 years old sleeping with a married woman, and her husband come home from work surprisingly. You 60 years old with a bad knee, and you trying to creep out somebody's house, going through the window. Like, how sad is that?
Yeah.
Like, it may feel good in the moment, but as time goes on, it's gonna be like, why am I doing this?
It's funny because it leads in, and it always works like this. It says the same source earlier. It says finally, this group is on the slow path to commitment as a whole. They are taking their time to have sex with multiple partners, even a few friends with benefits, or see if they can tolerate living with someone. This isn't viewed as reckless behavior, it's viewed as a test drive their partner before committing to buy. Now, from a human logic, I understand the whole test drive, but from I feel like a godly logic, I don't believe if you have a soulmate, I don't believe God will set you up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
In a conversation we had with some friends the other day, they were talking about a few different things. One thing was talking about how do you know somebody if you never lived with them? Now, from a godly point of view, I know everyone doesn't do this, and I'm not condemning nobody to hell if they didn't, because that don't mean they are. But in reality, from a godly point of view, it's best to wait till you're married to live with somebody, right? Everyone don't do that. It is what it is. The comment came up. How do you know if, because the girl was like, what if your wife is just, a girl is nasty and dirty and you had never lived with her before then? First of all, if marriage is like y'all say, and again, a lot of these people, not no shade to them, they aren't married. But as a marriage, from my understanding, if y'all have to, y'all a team, and this person is nasty and dirty, and you're not, wouldn't they love you enough to say, let me try to fix this? Or, and wouldn't you maybe have the patience to say, let me show you how,
Yeah, you're supposed to.
So that's my logic. But some people are like, well, what if there certain things can't be fixed? I believe that can be fixed.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and this is talking from somebody who did move in before we got married, and we both think about that time and think, yeah, it probably would have been more wise for us to be separate first before we came together like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and something like that, where it's like the whole cleaning thing, that can probably be resolved before you move in. If before you move in with your person, if you decide to take your that time where you're alone, if you decide to take it seriously and learn and grow instead of just BSing by yourself, but actually, like, so case in point, if you think about the Bible, most all stories, or most of the people that God used in the Bible, he had them separate first, then come back,
Right.
right? And during that separation period you're not just separated just to be separated. I'm growing you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it correctly, if you do this correctly, where you're by yourself, male or female, and in that time you're by yourself, you're not just BSing, but actually
Right.
trying to grow.
Yeah.
Something like cleanliness can be fixed without you even having to be, you're right,
Yeah.
in a relationship. So when y'all do move in, y'all, that's a basic practice, being able to clean.
Yeah.
And you can learn that by yourself if you're using that time by yourself as a time to grow and not just a time to BS around.
I agree.
Which you should use that time to grow, because this is the big thing. I'm glad you asked me. This is the biggest thing I tell people, and I always like to say, people had this weird. It's not. It's weird. People had this thing to where as soon as you say I do, or as soon as you say I love you to the girl you want to be with, or as soon as you say I want to move in with you, instantly you change. Instantly your mind changes. I know I'm a player, but when I find my girl, I'm gonna settle down. No, no, it's gonna make it 10 times harder for you because you're gonna have somebody that you want to stay loyal to, but that other dude is inside you because you didn't do what you needed to do first to make sure that he was cleansed out before you came and joined with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That don't work like at all. Like that don't work in no part of society, right? Like soon as if I say I'm a teacher, I'm a teacher. No, you gotta go to school for that first to
Right.
grow and gain education about teaching, and then you can become one. You don't just say it and all of a sudden it magically happens.
Yeah.
And it seems to be like with relationships, that's like how people think. Soon as I say I do, I'm gonna change. No,
Right.
yeah, as soon as I move in with a girl, I'm gonna be more clean. No, and we just using clean as an example, but that's with anything.
Yeah.
So it would benefit you to while that time when you're alone, don't just BS around. Grow. Learn about yourself. If you believe in God, the most important thing you can do in that time by yourself is grow spiritually. Because that's the one area, if you grow in that area, everything else gets better. Everything, your financial, relational, professional, health, everything gets better once you grow spiritually because you see everything from a godly view.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
So
your
now the
relations
next,
get better.
huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the next question is, what is your take on? I'm sure you've seen, and it's been conversation for some weeks now. The comment about the man paying for the girl and all her friends at dinner. Now, I don't agree with it. Some men will be like, I've heard some men say, like, I don't care, I do pay for her shorties, but these also the same dudes who openly say that they cheat. And then I seen a meme that said, if she said, and it was a woman that said, and she said, if my man is paying for my friend's dinner, then she coming home with us. So what? And we know what that means when she say that. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, I don't. No, I don't. Oh no, I'm not paying for nobody else. These are grown women, and they wanted to come out, and they should have. So okay, let me. If you got it like that, and it's not an issue, do what you want to do. If a three, because I don't know where they was at, but it looked like wasn't it the girl birthday or something like that?
Yeah, it was the girl birthday.
So most likely they was at somewhere expensive because they
Mm.
looked like they had on their good clothes. So case if down in Houston, like if you had your girl and her friends and they want to go to Steak 48 or what's another whatever Steak 48,
Ruth Chris, something like
Ruth
that.
Chris, something like that. If you got it like that, if the change in your pockets is like that, and for her birthday she wants everybody to feel special, she wants everybody to be on good vibes, and if you got it like that, yeah, go ahead. Like I don't, so I wouldn't be if I had it like that. If I don't, and you know I don't, and you ask me to do it anyway, or if you know that I'm trying to if I'm in a season where I'm trying to manage my money better, or there's a financial goal that I'm trying to reach, or there's something that I'm trying to reach, and we've talked about that, and you know about that, and you ask me to do that, no, no, like, and I think, but didn't Buddy say no? Yeah, Buddy was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and he's not wrong. You and if you feel embarrassed, that's because you decided to ask the stupid ass question, pay for me and all my friends. No,
Yeah.
no, no. Like that's like a dude saying, "It's me and my friends. Give up the nana for me and my friends." She has every right to say no. Well, no, I'm not giving up my money for you and your friends. These are all women who probably make their own money. pay for their own stuff. Right? If you got it like that though, and you don't have a problem with it, then do what you want to do. I mean, even if you do got it like that and you have a problem with it, I would look at you kind of like, but you got it though. So, and it ain't gonna
Yeah.
hurt. So what's wrong with just paying for it so that way the night can keep going and everybody can keep having fun? And then
Yeah.
you and your lady can talk about it later. You can tell her like, hey, I didn't really appreciate that. Can we not do that again? That's if you got it like that. If you ain't got it like that, no. And don't ask me. Like that's why would you even ask me that? Now I gotta be the butthole that tells you no in front of all your friends when it's really your fault because you asked that stupid question.
Right. So then the last one, and again, I'm asking because you married. Who is paying all the bills?
We pay the bills. We pay the bills. Like it's not a either or. It's a we. Um, that's how me and my wife operate. Um, as a we. Do I want to be in a position? I want to be in a position where finances and bills and stuff can be just taken care of regardless of where it's coming from. It don't matter because ultimately this is our money. So I don't care about the who makes more money than who's doing this and who's doing that. I personally think that when you say you want a man to be a provider, finances is part of it. It's not the whole thing. And it seems like everybody thinks that finances is the whole thing, and it's not.
Yeah.
He can have money but be a terrible leader. He can have money but be a chump. He can have money and be. I mean, he can have money and don't know how to have sex. Like he probably suck in the bed. Like just because he got money doesn't make him a provider. That's just me. And my mindset is never gonna change on that, regardless when, because I believe my business is gonna grow to be something special. Regardless of when I have money or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it comes from. As long as finances and bills are taken care of, I'm cool with it. Um, so we pay the bills, we make things work. Not either or, not I do everything, not she do everything. It's I I work, you work, we both contribute to this household. This household cannot function if either one of us is off of our game. So it doesn't matter um who what who has the most money in the household. Um yeah, that don't matter.
Again, and I know this ain't the case in every relationship, but the people, and I keep saying this because that's what I've seen. The new dudes will be like, "Ain't no girl paying the bills in my house. Like he pay for everything," and she was like, "Oh, I just go get the groceries and pay for like the utilities." He's cheating every time. Everyone that I've seen, that's what I've seen. So it's like, I
It's
mean, I know that ain't the case for every. I'm
yeah,
just going on what
it's
I.
it's not that I don't understand that thought process why you have, but like I said, but that's only because people think that money is the providing, like, and no, it's part of it. It's not all of it. That's something, but that's not everything.
Right.
Like just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you're a good husband. You just have a lot of money, right? And you can. I'm pretty sure it's plenty of women that are miserable, but they have their Gucci Louis Vuitton slippers on, but at home bored, no excitement. Probably get tired of going to raw sushi every week. Get tired of going to Perry Steakhouse and Grill every week. But you got money, but this is a repeating cycle because he doesn't know how to be spontaneous. He doesn't know how to be romantic. He just know I got money and we can pay for expensive stuff. But
Yeah.
eventually expensive stuff just gets, you keep doing it long enough, you're gonna be like, okay. And like money ain't the, I don't see, if you date for money, I'm sorry, women, and y'all might look at this and be like, well, you a broke nigga, so it's okay. I'm telling you, dating for money ain't always the best thing.
It's not.
Okay. If a man is a provider and he brings in money, brings in good income, you done found a good one. But if he's a butt-face asshole dickhead, but I mean he clearing 7 figures. Well, I'm sorry you feel like you have to settle.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of these cases, these people just sit up here and just tolerate whatever. They just deal with people. They just deal with whatever. But like you said, they like the bills is paid, or I got all this stuff. But again, we've replaced provider with, we just equate provider with financial. We're not talking about mental stability, emotionally. We're not talking about let's go do something.
I'm gonna say this: my wife makes more money than me, and if you ask her who's the provider in the house, she would say I am. Not because it's not based on money. It is really, it's money is a small part of it. It's really more than that. It's really your mindset, how you lead, your discernment, your attitude. Like, men who are in relationships, I want you to really think about this when you're watching this. If you're watching this, really think about this. When you and your girl get into an argument, I am telling you, as a married man, as the male, you have the power to determine how the argument goes. Literally, with the way you respond, you have all the power to determine how the argument goes as a male. And a man who understands his lady well enough to know the way she's speaking right now, depending on if she's angry or she's airing out a grievance. Let's say she's just airing out a grievance, and you have been with her to be able to discern the difference between anger and airing out a grievance, and you say, I'm not going to fuss back with her. I'm actually going to cater to her feelings, and then that makes her feel better. That's a provider. Because naturally, just naturally, I'm telling you, from a married man, listen to me, naturally, especially in that specific scenario, she'll start nurturing to you, because women are naturally nurturers. Because you cater to her feelings. Because you made her feel like it's okay for you to feel this way. I'm here for you and for support. I love you, and I'm always going to love you, even regardless if you behave in this way or not. Naturally, she's going to nurture. Naturally, she's going to try to figure out what's the best thing I can do for him. That's a provider. Somebody who provides peace in a household. And peace ain't always equated to money. I can go as far as to say, because Notorious B.I.G. said it, more money, more problems. Having a whole bunch of money don't really solve everything. He said that. Somebody that was coming from money, then got coming from no money, got some money. So you would think that's not something he would ever think about.
Right.
But he said it like, nah, like, it ain't always good to have a whole bunch of money. Like, provider equates peace. And peace is attained in plenty different ways. It's not always attained by dollar bills.
Right.
Because even with everything being paid for, you can still have stress in the household. But you, like, light bills paid for. You got a car, you got gas in the car, you got electricity, you got food in the crib, but still feel like shit. Like, this is a mental health podcast. Got all that in the crib, but still feel like something is missing. Provider don't equate money. Provider equates peace. And peace is attained in plentiful ways, not just money.
Right. So let's go on to the next segment, the weekly sabbatical. In this one, y'all, we just reflect and kind of get to the root of things and just kind of see like why things are the way they are, and just, kind of get to that and look at it from that angle. All right. So with that, let's talk about it. So first of all, how did your self-love brand come about? Like, give us the short story.
There was a low point in my life where I felt like I had no self-confidence at all, no eternal value. I didn't think I could do anything right. I didn't think I was. I think I was just felt like I wasn't here for nothing, just to work and go home. And it was clothes. God used clothes as a tool to help me build my self confidence and see myself in a more positive light. I always like to say, like, self love, self confidence starts from the inside, but what you are on the outside can't help.
Yeah.
Like Deion Sanders used to say, if you look good, you feel good, you play good. And, God used clothes as a tool to help me build my self confidence. So I just want to be a tool that he uses to help build self confidence in others. So that's the whole reason why I started the brand.
Okay. Just a simple yes or no. I know the answer, but the people gotta know. Are you happy you got married when you did?
That's not a yes or no.
Okay. Why is
Are you
why?
saying, wait, before I answer, are you saying that when I got married, was I happy?
Well, are you happy you got married when you did? Like, do you feel like maybe we wish we would have waited a little longer? Do I wish we would have did it a little sooner?
See, I wish and we talked about this. We always say like we kind of moved into stuff too fast.
Okay.
But let me make a loop that goes back to that first or that second topic we had. We did move into stuff too fast, and stuff was hard. It was hard. Like we moved in before we got married, and that was tough. Getting married when we probably was still needed some time to grow, that was tough. But we didn't quit. Am I happy? Was I happy? Was I thought that was a good time when we got married? No. But I'm happy that I'm married because I know I have somebody who's a literal ride or die that will say I love you and I'm with you till the wheels fall off. And the shit that we've been through,
Yeah.
and we still here. So like I feel like I do have a happy marriage because I know I have confidence in myself that I'm going to work hard to make sure that this marriage works and make sure that we do this the right way. And I know she's going to work hard to make sure that this works and does it the right way. And that's what I mean by like quitting so easily. You're not going to get to a happy place with anybody because you give up so easily. It is work. And I like millennials, I understand that we like to think, but some work. I know we like to think that I'm not going to be doing extra work if I don't need to. Some work you cannot avoid. You got to go through it to get on the other side. Some stuff you just not going to be able to avoid. Some stuff you got to push through. You got to work through. And like I can honestly say we have worked our asses off, and we still got more growing to do. But we in a way better place than what we was a year ago. Yeah, I'm dead on. A year ago, in a way better place, because we pushed, we fought, we didn't quit. And also, and I know we probably throwing God a lot around in this conversation, but I think this is important. We understand our source. Our source is God. We both understand this marriage is important, but our individual relationships with God is more important than this marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Because once our individual relationships with God is good, then this marriage is going to be good. Because he's distributing thoughts, values, practices to us that will make the marriage work, because he ultimately knows what the marriage needs to be successful. So he's telling Montronique one thing, he's telling me another thing, and he knows what I'm telling y'all. Y'all need to work hard and just do what I'm telling you, and it's all gonna coexist. It's all gonna come together.
Absolutely.
Like, you gotta have God as your source.
And a lot of people don't have that and they don't know to do that. But, and not saying it ain't been some successful marriages without God. It has been. I don't want that kind. But I'm just saying that I'm sure it has been. Somebody has. But I definitely know that that's who created marriage in the first place. So it would only make sense to have him as the head of it. This is the thing, and I'm taking this away and moving on to the next thing. I just don't like how people who are in these terrible relationships, horrible relationships, and when I say horrible, I mean horrible, even if it looks good on the outside and it's horrible on the inside. And sometimes they look horrible on the outside too. But what I'm saying is, in these type of relationships who strongly suggest that people should just get married or get in a relationship, like what you waiting on, you getting older, you're not getting no younger. This is the thing, and this can go for men too. I don't want nobody putting their hands on me. The women put their hands on people too. I don't want to be, we keep talking about cheating on, but we only just want nobody that's emotionally unavailable. And then, with these people out here, I know this is random and you're going to laugh, but I'm so serious. The vanish mode on Instagram terrifies me. It gives me the biggest anxiety in the world. I don't like it. I just, when I see that thing and it say one new message, I say, oh my God. What is this about? And I think it just makes it easier for people to get caught up in those scandals. I don't know why I heard Usher, they get caught up in these scandals because they're making it easier for you to be sneaky. And they're making it easy for you to vanish. Poof, it's gone. But this is the other thing I'm gonna say. I done seen people who were miserable by themselves, lacking self-love. Then they got into a relationship. It was all lovey-dovey. And then as soon as they broke up, they went back to being miserable. So my logic is, you mean to tell me that, and not saying all relationships aren't supposed to make you happy, because they are. But what I'm saying is that if you don't love yourself and you're not together internally, you're bitter, you're undone, you're unforgiving, you're resentful, and all this other stuff is gonna come up and you'll never get over because you don't know how to love yourself. And this is the main thing. I say all that to say this. And I said this and I caught flack a while ago. You were born to do more than getting married and have children. That's a part of it, but that's not, I got married, I had kids, roll the credits to my life. That's not it. Because
You
ultimately,
created that's part of your calling, but you have a bigger calling. Like your calling is to help a lot of people, not just one person. Right? Like, yeah, you're right. Like, and I need people to get this as well. This might sound weird, but I'm gonna just stick with me. The person that you married to is a calling. The person that you married to is a calling. It's not, if it's done correctly, like you said, lack of self-love. If you are that time, like I told y'all earlier, that time when you're separate and you're by yourself and you're actually responsible with that time and not irresponsible with that time and growing, God will send your calling to you, which is a person to you. Either they got something, because sometimes God will send you a person where they need to be in a relationship. And I'm trusting you to be in a relationship with this person because you can help them build them. You can help build them. But he only trusts you if you get that time by yourself where you separate and using that time to grow.
right.
So yes, like when you're married, or if you are married, or if you think you're gonna be married, most likely that's a person that God called you to. It's been plenty of times, I'm not BSing when I say this, it's been plenty of times where I felt like I don't want to do this no more. It's dumb. It's stupid. She's getting on my nerves. I quit. And God would literally tell me, like, don't you leave that girl. Like, literally, like, you're not gonna find nobody else. I'm telling you, you're not gonna find nobody else. This is who you're supposed to be with. Like, literally telling me, like, you can't move. If you move, yeah, you can move, because God is not a controlling God. God helps on influence. So he would be like, go ahead and move. I'm telling you, you're not gonna find nobody else though. Especially my situation where I had a child, and my child's mother at that point in time when we first got together was not all there.
Not coherent.
Not coherent. And then and then she calmed down, but it was still so much going on. And God would literally tell me, like, I'll be like, I don't want to do this no more. This is stupid. I don't have time. And God be like, don't you move. And in that moment, I had to make a decision. It's either he said don't move. So what, you gonna sit here and complain, or you gonna try to put in the work to make this work? Once I decided to put in the work to make it work, it worked out. It's working out good.
Good. We love to hear that. But seriously, so I think that another article, well, not think, it says, according to are millennials victims of self-love or narcissism? It says, sure, millennials seem to have inflated sense of their own importance. It says, however, it is not a common occurrence. We are growing up in a society where suicide is one of the leading causes of death among college students. According to healthline.com, 1 out of every 4 undergraduates suffers from mental illness, including depression and anxiety. While such negativity surrounds us, it is a breath of fresh air to hear someone of our age who has a sense of self-worth and importance. We are constantly battling diseases that target our intellect, purpose, and confidence. So instead of bashing young people for their pride and self-respect, encourage it, because it is actually quite hard to come by. I agree and disagree with that. I agree because it is good to have self-confidence, self-importance, but it can cross the line into pride, and you think you're better than what you are. But typically people who are extremely prideful have very low self-esteem, and they're trying to like push it up, like look, see, I'm really this and you really not. But I am a firm believer that if you hype yourself up, you'll start to believe it, because I do.
My pastor says it's not important to know how God sees you. It's equally valuable to know how you see yourself. So I just threw that out there because you said
had to toss it in.
Yeah, toss that in.
So we've had a great conversation thus far, and we talked about a lot of different things, and the cheating and the being single and the knowing your self-worth and the importance of waiting to get married and the paying for the bill and all that stuff. But before we go, I want to give an article. It was why you should get married in your 20s, according to an article on hackspirit.com. It says, the first one, it says you've got the time, all the time in the world. Want to wait 10 years to have a kid? No worry. Decide you want no kids at all? Cool. You got all the time in the world. So let's just say you get married young and it doesn't work out. Well, you've got time. Okay. So I like that part where it says you do have time. It says that you get back to have plenty of time to get back out there and find somebody new. And the thing is, whether you get married or not, your relationship isn't going to magically survive or end. So I like that, because it's basically kind of telling you, like, if it don't work, you got, I mean, even older is, you still have time, but definitely younger is easier. The second one, I'm sure you can relate to this one. It says you learn hard lessons together.
During the time where you need to be surrounded by community, when you learning hard lessons. Because if you're not strong enough yet as a 20-year-old, you ain't been through enough yet. If you by yourself as a 20-year-old and you going through a lot of crap, that's dangerous. So yeah, it's very beneficial to have somebody next to you.
The third one, it says you grow up together. It says you get to grow up together, whether that be good or bad. There's a lot of maturing to be done in those early 20s, and it'll happen whether you're in a relationship or single, which kind of piggybacks off what you just said, because it's like, it's a lot of stuff gonna happen regardless. So it's good to have that community. And then the fourth one is more on that website, but I just stuck to the ones that I thought were the most important. It says you're not so set in your ways. Typically, you trying to get remarried at 35, 40, 50. Not saying it can't be done, not saying it's not gonna work, but a lot of them ages, they like, this me, I ain't changing.
Yeah.
And our age, we're more flexible. Like how I thought at 25 is not how I think at 28. So, we're a lot more flexible. And as always, I think that's pretty good. All right, so let's move into the final segment of the day, and this is game time. This game time is called Kiss, Marry, Kill. So I took the original game that people were playing like high school and stuff, where they give you a name of person and you be like, kiss this person, marry this person, kill this person. So in your case, we're not going to talk about people. We're going to talk about scenarios. And you would say like kiss in this case would mean like you may do it, but you wouldn't do too much of it. Marry means you bonded to this. Kill means no, get that away from me. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, the first one. Entertaining the idea of an open marriage.
Kill. That don't work. I don't care what nobody say. That don't work. Because even if that works for you, you don't know what you're doing to the person that you're sleeping with. So that might be cool for you and your relationship. So you and your lady, y'all might be like, it's fine with us, but you might mentally be messing up somebody that you decide to sleep with. You don't know who you picking. You picking random people. You don't know who you picking. This day you might go to the grooves and pick up some crazy man that seemed cool when you first meet him. Then you have sex with him, and after that he wants you to himself. And if you don't, he finna come stab you with a knife. Like, no, that don't work. That even if you and your lady don't get offended by it, you don't know what you're doing to other people.
Mm-hmm.
You messing up other people. That does not work.
I'm thinking of my friend. She said she told her granny that. She said, "Granny, I got a husband and a boyfriend." She said, her granny said, "That's a dangerous game."
Yeah, bro. That don't work. That does not work.
All right, the second one, the idea of having open dialogue about what bothers you.
Mary.
The idea of living in separate houses.
Mm.
Kiss, marry, kill.
I would say kiss.
Okay. Because and now y'all, just because they're in a separate house don't mean they got other, they
Yeah,
ain't
that
gonna be
might,
married.
like my daddy was saying, me and him was talking not too long ago. He was just saying that might work for them. Like being in separate rooms, that might work for them. You just gotta let people do marriage the way they know how to do it.
Without bringing other people in.
Yeah.
All right. Having a big family with many kids and pets.
Kill. Well, what you mean by many kids? Like what's many? Like more than
3
two?
more or more.
Oh, not kill. Kill.
All
Oh,
right. Having a joint business.
Mary.
Allowing your parents to move in with you.
You have to kiss it. When we believe in God, you have to kiss it because you gotta honor your people. I will say this. Know your people. Know your people. If you know, case in point, you know your mama got a little mouth. She can get a little messy. You can honor your mama by making sure she stay at a nice nursing home and paying for it. But you should know well enough, I can't bring you in my house because you're going to mess up the peace. So, kiss.
All right. Final one. Having a self-love hat show.
Well, Mary, actually, it's not. I'm working on something with a friend, so it wouldn't be called self-love show. But, well, hat show like a model, like a podcast. What you saying?
Well, just really like maybe even like a model thing. Maybe you put the hats on and modeled them and did like different
Oh yeah,
TikTok.
Mary. I do that on Instagram. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at
We're gonna
Ron
put,
BJ _ and then we're gonna get to that.
yeah, we're gonna put all that down. All right, cool. Okay, so let's get into the question and challenge for the week. So, what is one thing you would think or currently enjoy about being married? So, for those that's not married, that's something to add. What you would think, one thing, and then if you are married, tell us one thing you do enjoy because you enjoy something. I mean, unless you're on the verge of divorce. But even if you are, what's one thing you did do? Because it's something you like say for instance, you are on the verge of divorce, but this person is a great mother or a great father, or y'all, or this person, has a strong drive, or whatever. All right. Anything else you want to end off with before we go?
Yeah, just I know I'm sounding like a dead horse, but it's work. Please, like there's just I don't know how many people gonna watch this, but I just please stop. Like if I had to say something, this might sound so simple, but it has so much meaning to it. Stop giving up so easily. Stop giving up so easily, please. Please, people, stop giving up so easily. Push, fight, be discerning. So if you see that this person is not willing to push and fight, or if you see this person has a lot of stuff going on, too much going on, and it would be more wise for me to separate myself. Okay. But also be discerning that there's some things that's not that big of a deal, and that's not enough for you to quit something just because you made you uncomfortable for a little bit. Most likely something like that can be fixed with a conversation. Please stop quitting so easily. Please.
All right. He said don't quit. All right, y'all. So that's all I got for today. Tune in next week because it's talking about kids. So that'll be interesting. All right. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who
Wait,
you are.
and I don't know when it's gonna air, but yeah, follow my Instagram, RBJ_, and we just made he's wearing a self-love hat, I'm wearing a self-love hat. The website is up. So if you want that green one is nice. So if y'all want whatever one, go to the self-love website. It's on the Instagram. The self-love Instagram page is self-love_AP. So there you go.
All right, y'all. So that's it for today. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are and make your mind up. Don't let it make you.